Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you have any interest in real estate in the Villages, if you'd like to know what a property is worth, if you're interested in buying a property or selling a property, please contact me, DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. We're going to start by taking a look at this chart, which shows us nationwide that home buying conditions are the weakest on record. Buyers do not think that it's a good time to buy a house. This is partly related to their belief that prices are too high, and partly related to the fact that they can no longer afford the house that they were previously interested in because of interest rates. This is also reflected in the Villages activity, where sales over the last 7 days have basically almost ground to a standstill. We'll get to that soon. We're going to start by looking at total listings here in the Villages, as we usually do. Currently, there are 259 properties for sale here. They range in price from $159,000 to almost $2 million. And if you look at this graph, you can see that the number of listings has been climbing relentlessly over the last several months. This is a closer look at the properties that are available by price segment. Currently, there are two homes for sale between $100,000 and $200,000. If we look at the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 price range, there are currently 159 homes for sale. Last week, there were 157. The week prior to that, 144. The week prior to that, 134. And the week prior to that, 133. This is a graph that shows the median listing price per square foot for all of these listings. Currently, it stands at $268.08. This is the lowest we've seen, and this graph is now definitely showing a downward trend since the middle of the year. This shows us how long these listings have been on the market. The median time on the market for all listings is currently 43 days, which is the high end of the range. Keep in mind that as new properties come onto the market, this graph does understate the median listing time because it includes all of these new listings that have a time on the market of less than 7 days. This graph illustrates how activity here in the Villages has been grinding to a halt. Over the last 7 days, only 12 properties sold, which means closed. They ranged in price from $179,000 to almost $900,000. This graph is certainly showing a downward trend as buyers are reluctant to pay what sellers are currently expecting. This is a closer look at the properties that sold over the last 7 days, and you can see that in the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 price range, only 5 properties closed. Previous 7 days saw 18 properties close. The 7 days prior to that also saw 18. 7 days prior to that, 12, and the 7 days prior to that, 16. So 5 sales closing in that price range certainly shows a market where activity has slowed dramatically. Here we look at the price realized per square foot on properties that sold. Over the last 7 days, it's $248 a square foot. This graph also reinforces the idea that prices per square foot are trending lower currently. And another look at properties that sold. This is the median time on the market for properties that sold. They were on the market for 35 and a half days. This is the high end of the range and 7 times longer than it took earlier this year. This graph shows us how many new listings appeared on the market over the last 7 days compared to how many properties went pending. New listings is the blue line and pending sales is the orange line. Over the last 7 days, there were 28 new listings and 21 properties went pending. This is a more detailed look at the new listings. In the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $500,000 range, there are 16 new listings over the last 7 days. Previous 7 days saw 23, 7 days prior to that 17, 7 days prior to that 11, and the 7 days prior to that 12. Here we look at the price realized on properties that went pending over the last 7 days. The median price was $249.47 per square foot. This is the lower end of the range, but it does seem to be holding for the moment. Here's another graph that indicates that sellers are becoming more realistic as to what buyers are prepared to spend. This is the price change from the original listing price for the properties that went pending over the last 7 days. The median price change for all properties that went pending was a price decrease of almost 10%. This is by far the biggest decrease that we've seen so far. This graph shows us how long these pending sales were on the market. Median time was 30 days. We do seem to be heading back up, and it's taking longer for properties to sell. And the last two items we consider are what percentage of properties that are currently listed have had a decrease from their original listing price. 54% of listings on the MLS have decreased their asking price from the original listing price. Keep in mind that this graph is also a little bit understated because with the increase in new listings, the new listing price doesn't reflect any expectation from earlier in the year. For all properties on the MLS, the median is a decrease of over 5% from the original listing price. Once again, this graph also understates seller enthusiasm because new listings are not showing decreases. They're just coming onto the market at a new price. So that wraps up this week's look at the Villages real estate market. If you have any interest in buying or selling a home in the Villages, or you're just curious as to what your home might be worth, or you'd like to see what is available in a certain price range or certain geographical area, please contact me at DavidisinFlorida at gmail.com. Hope to hear from you. Take care.